Welcome to UNCAGED, the show that celebrates thought leadership from today's top business leaders. The program provides a voice to amazing executives from around the globe who are shaping the world of business today and mapping the path to the commerce of tomorrow. Today we're speaking with Maria Duarte. Hey Maria, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Hey, I'm very, very well, Maria. I'm excited to have you in our studio. This is the first time we've actually done one of these in our Miami studio, so it's very, very exciting for us. Maria is the co-founder and COO of Utility Junction. This is a company that is innovating the utility space and making your bill management experience much, much easier. And hopefully much more cost effective as well for the customers. But before we get into talking about Utility Junction specifically, Maria, tell us a little bit about your background.
Great, absolutely. So I mostly worked in customer service. I did the job of doing operations for BPOs or call centers for about 15 years. So that's my background. I have a master in business as well. So all of that really helped me bring some of that quality standards and procedures, operating procedures into the utilities world. So that's a little bit of what I did. So I worked a corporate job for a long time.
Yep.
And just recently, about 2 years ago, I made the shift to become a startup founder, which has been quite a journey.
Well, I gotta say, it's such a great story and I can't wait to get into it. So as a co-founder, tell me about the Utility Junction pathway.
Wow. It comes out of failure. You know, it sounds a little cliche, but it's the truth. Unfortunately, during the start of COVID in March of 2020, we were let go from one of our biggest clients that we were currently doing utility management for. And COVID was just starting in that same month. So it was a very difficult moment to go through. But, you know, luckily we regrouped after that painful experience. And with my other two co-founders, we were able to come together and see there's actually a need to streamline and digitalize the utility management process. There's many applications out there that can help you do that. But it seems that we're just guiding the customer through the initial setup of the utilities, and then we don't do the follow-up, or we don't have that journey path in terms of educating everyone in terms of saving for their utilities, but also finding those best rates. And that's something that we've also been able to accomplish through many partnerships that we have.
So tell me how Utility Junction actually works.
That's a great question. So right now we have a web platform and we have an app on Google Play Store only. We're in the process of developing one for the Apple Store as well. And basically you'll be able to see your home in case of an individual homeowner, but also for real estate companies. If you have up to 100, 500, even more than 1,000 properties, the platform is able to host all of your properties there. And what's important, it's mostly through your moving, if you're ever moving or if you're selling or buying a home, setting up utilities is quite still painful in this country. And it's a little standard across all states. Some are easier than others, where you can go and fill out an online form or you can send an email. But others, you have to go through a phone queue. And sometimes you'll be 30, 45 minutes on the phone just trying to connect one service. Imagine all the other things you can do during that time. What's so effective for us is that we'll call in and set up several homes at the same time. So that's a good use of our time. Or we can also be advancing on other processes because it's our main core. So that's the first part in terms of setting up your utilities. The second part is your bills. So making sure your bills are paid on time so you're not paying the late fees.
Right.
So the dashboard is kind of annoying. We say it gets under your skin but not in your pocket.
Nice.
Because you will get 6 constant reminders until you check off, I paid this bill.
Right.
Just to make sure you're not paying those late bills, which eventually they can add up to maybe $120, $200 a year. Service providers can charge anywhere between $10 to $15 per bill, or sometimes it's a percentage of your bill every time you're late. All the way up to disconnecting those utilities. So if you're moving, it's awesome because you know that's taken care of. There's nothing to worry about. You're not going to hear from service providers 2 months later, 3 months later, and all this time, if your bill's on auto pay, you've been paying for those bills.
Yeah, I love it. I got to tell you, someone who has recently moved and has properties in other places, managing the utility process is one of the, you're almost guaranteed right now without a solution like yours for something to go wrong, like a connection to not work. Especially if you're someone who's like renting properties, with getting the new people onto the utility, it's always a joy, always a joy. So tell me a little bit about the broader kind of energy and utility marketplace. I mean, are we going to see more convenience like this moving forward, hopefully?
Absolutely. There's many people catching up, quite a few competitors in the market already announcing that theirs is coming, right? The energy industry is over, $900 million or even more than that, right? Just the energy alone. But also just like a lot of innovation that's coming in from technology that can help these things out for us as homeowners, but also for people, investing in real estate. We've got many more people, retail investors, coming up in the market because it's such a great place to put your money into, and not have to worry about these other, minor costs that are there. So we're definitely seeing a lot more innovation because unfortunately, I believe the service providers are not going to catch up as quickly as technology or startups can do so, right? Yeah. It's going to take them a little bit longer to streamline their process and upgrade it, but we're definitely seeing more convenience, more consumer education as well.
So, I mean, this is one of these great stories in a way. It starts with a tough moment during the early days of the pandemic, and you guys have built the business and it's growing now. When you look back over the last couple of years, how did the pandemic shape the way you work as a business? I mean, do you see that it kind of made you structure things differently? And what are the kind of opportunities perhaps that are appearing for you guys?
That's a great question. So we've been a remote first company for a few years. So the pandemic didn't hit us that hard in terms of working remote. We didn't have our staff go through all the different, I would say, traumas maybe or experiences of going through it. So being remote has definitely helped us not just probably innovate, but just find the best talent out there. And we've been able to create we have a small team, but very united. Even through a screen, we've learned to connect, we've learned to communicate well. So our individual and professional skills have definitely strengthened because of that. The great opportunity from COVID for us was that more and more clients, in this case for us, right? Yeah. Other enterprises, we're now looking at global teams and remote teams like a natural thing. Before it was a little bit more biased, like, are you really, working? You guys are at home, you're on your computer. Yeah. All of that was thanks to COVID.
Yeah, that's the COO of you coming out, like wanting to track, and it's true, you have to. Yeah.
So that was really great. And then the advancement in technology that we've seen in the past 2 years has been probably what we saw in the last decade. Things are going really quickly. They're moving very smoothly. And there's also been innovation with other companies, software companies that support companies like ours, for example, in digital marketing, email marketing, and sales that have helped our jobs be better. So I think there's an opportunity for us, but also opportunity for other sectors as well to support each other.
So, I mean, as an entrepreneur, and I should say perhaps in this case, as a woman who has made that leap to being an entrepreneur, I know that being a champion for other women entrepreneurs and other women leaders is really important to you. Also, certainly the Latinx community and things that you can be doing in that space. Tell me how that kind of manifests itself in your life.
Yeah, that's a great, almost a vision and a purpose for me. It gets me super excited every time, we're doing innovative things. And I'm basically the voice and the face of Utility Junction at this point, especially as a co-founder, right? So it brings first pride, a lot of pride in what we do. And, humbly being the person that's becoming this face and this voice. I love for other people to see that representation. I love to be that sort of role model where, young girls or even women my age that have a job maybe and they're thinking about going the entrepreneur way, that I can inspire them to tell them, yes, this is possible. You can do this. Because our cultures are a little bit different, right? The Latin culture versus the American one. In the Latin culture, we wear many hats. I know in the American as well, but much more hats. But being a mom, being a wife, and being an entrepreneur, and being a leader, being a boss, all these different roles, it can become overwhelming.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in our Latin culture, sometimes that support for us women is not there. I'm lucky to have it, but I'm also here to say, there's an opportunity for you. We can make it happen. You don't need to fail at your other roles if you're trying to, be a founder or do something different in the founder world.
That's excellent. I mean, it's a really, really important movement in general, and we want to see more and more women entrepreneurs, Latinx entrepreneurs step forward, which is excellent. But tell me about 2022 for you, Maria. I mean, here you are, you've made it through the last 2 years of the pandemic, and, I should knock on wood somewhere, knock on wood that we might be heading in a better direction now, but what are the priorities for you guys in 2022?
I agree with you. The sentiment is there. 2022 feels like so much possibilities, maybe because the world is reopening. Very difficult external circumstances as well, right? Where we're being tested. Right. But we're really excited, especially in the startup world. When you're going, each year is a win. Yeah. There's a high possibility of failure in startup world, right? So each year that goes by, and our client base is growing, that we're seeing more demand for our services. It's just that, moment of confidence that helps you continue building. And as you get more customers in the startup world, for us, it's great because we get more feedback and we're able to develop our company in the direction that solves those most painful problems for our customers. So we're really excited about this year. We feel very solid. We have grown exponentially. Wow. And this year just feels like the year we're gonna, make some important breakthroughs, but the year where we've also gained those moments of confidence and that we're able to find that market fit.
Yeah, I think you mentioned something that is really important for entrepreneurs to perhaps pat themselves on the back. Every year that passes, your likelihood of success increases exponentially. You made it through the first year, Maria. You made it through the second year. Now we're going into the third year, and that's a spectacular shift and a spectacular momentum. If someone wanted to learn more about Utility Junction and what you guys are working on, where should they go?
Well, I'd love for people to learn more about it. And I'm usually the person doing the sales as well. As a founder, it is my role. So you can definitely contact me on my email, which is the easiest way. It's maria@utilityjunction.com, or on social media. LinkedIn and Twitter are the platforms where I'm mostly available.
Excellent. Well, Maria Duarte, thank you so much for coming in to join us for our first in-studio Uncaged, another innovative breakthrough that you've been able to be involved in. We've been speaking with Maria Duarte. She is the co-founder and COO of Utility Junction. Take a look at what they're up to. They are innovating in the utility space and bill management experience. This is an area where you're going to see a lot of innovation over the next couple of years, and Utility Junction is leading the way. We've been talking to Maria about how companies have come through the pandemic from literally a startup idea all the way through to where we are today and taking it to the next level and starting to scale. So Maria, thank you so much for coming in today. We look forward to having you back.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers.